In exactly 3 seconds, the history of modern combat is going to fracture. But if you were standing inside the Long Beach Municipal Auditorium right now, you wouldn't see a revolution. You would see a joke. You would see a skinny 23-year-old kid from Seattle wearing a yellow vest, doing a strange rhythmic shuffle in the middle of a martial arts mat. It looks like he is dancing the cha-cha. To the seasoned veterans in the front row, men with calloused knuckles and black belts tied strictly around their waists, this constant motion isn't fighting. It is pure disrespect. They are waiting for him to stop bouncing. They are waiting for him to take a stance, but he doesn't stop. It is August 2nd, 1964. The air inside the arena is thick, almost drinkable. It smells of stale cigarette smoke, deep heat rub, and that specific sharp odor of nervous sweat. This is the first International Karate Championships. It is a gathering of the hardest men in America, a place where discipline is measured by how still you can stand and how loud you can shout. And into this cathedral of rigidity walks Bruce Lee, vibrating like a tuning fork. He isn't a movie star yet. He isn't a legend on a poster. To most people in this room, he is just an arrogant kid with a loud mouth and a silly habit of never planting his feet. Watch the crowd. You can see the heavy hitters like Ed Parker watching closely, their arms crossed over their chests. The tension here isn't just about a fight. It is about a collision of two worlds. On one side, you have 200 years of tradition, the belief that power comes from the ground, from locking your hips, from turning your body into a stone fortress. On the other side, you have this relentless, fluid bouncing. To understand why this moment is so dangerous for Bruce, you have to understand what he is up against. The man standing across from him isn't a pushover. He is a high-ranking karateka, built like a tank, a man who has spent decades conditioning his body to absorb impact. He drops into a horse stance, legs wide, knees bent, spine straight. He looks immovable. He looks like a statue made of iron. In 1964, this is what strength looks like. If you want to fight, you plant your feet. You chamber your fist, you scream. But Bruce is breaking every rule just by breathing. He isn't wearing a white guy. He isn't screaming. He is wearing street clothes and thin shoes, and he is bouncing on the balls of his feet, shifting his weight back and forth, back and forth. Swish, swish. It's a broken rhythm. It looks lazy. It looks like he isn't taking this seriously. A murmur goes through the crowd. They think he is nervous. They think the adrenaline has made him jittery. They are wrong. They are looking at a predator who has figured out a physics equation that they haven't even started to solve. But right now, the crowd just wants to see the traditionalist crush the dancer. The atmosphere shifts. The demonstrations are over. The politeness is wearing thin. Bruce senses the skepticism. He sees the eyes rolling in the front row. He knows that if he leaves this mat without proving his point, he will be laughed out of the building. His entire philosophy, the idea of fluidity, of being water, dies right here if he fails. So, Bruce stops smiling. The bouncing slows down just enough for him to make eye contact with the man in the horse stance. The auditorium goes quiet. You can hear the hum of the ventilation system. Bruce raises a hand not to strike, but to make a proposition. It is a bet that sounds suicidal. He looks at the karateka and says, loudly enough for the front row to hear, "I am going to hit you. You know it is coming. I'm not going to trick you. If you block it, you win." Think about the arrogance of that statement. In a fight, the element of surprise is everything. You feint, you fake, you distract. You never tell your opponent exactly what you are going to do. By announcing his attack, Bruce is giving away his biggest advantage. He is handing the karateka the blueprint. The karateka tightens his guard. You can see his knuckles turn white. He is insulted, but he is also ready. He knows exactly where the punch has to come from. He calculates the distance. He sets his feet harder into the mat. He is ready to intercept. In his mind, he has already won. All he has to do is react. The audience leans in. The silence is heavy now. This is the moment where reputations are destroyed. If Bruce misses, or if he gets blocked, he is just a fast talker who got put in his place. If he lands it, well, nobody thinks he can land it. Not with a warning like that. Bruce resumes that strange, fluid, bouncing habit. bounce, bounce, slide. It is hypnotic, it is annoying. To the classically trained fighter, it looks like a waste of energy. Why move if you don't have to? The opponent's eyes track Bruce's chest, waiting for the telegraph, that split-second tension in the shoulder that always happens before a punch is thrown. Every human being telegraphs. It is biology. You have to load the muscle before you fire it. The karateka is waiting for the load. He is watching for the tense up. But that is the trap. Bruce is effectively hiding in plain sight. The bouncing isn't nervousness. It is a camouflage for his kinetic energy. He is generating momentum without moving forward, keeping his engine running at redline while the car is still in neutral. The crowd holds its breath. 1 second passes, 2 seconds. The distance between them is safe, at least 3 feet. Too far to strike without stepping, too far to reach without a wind-up. Or so they think. In the next fraction of a second, the gap that everyone believes is safe is about to vanish. The silly habit is about to reveal its teeth. And for the man standing like a fortress, the realization that he is fighting a ghost is going to come far too late. In the time it takes for a human eye to blink, the world changes. Literally less time than it takes to click a camera shutter. Bruce bridges the gap. There is no wind-up, no telegraph, just a blur. The yellow vest surges forward. It isn't a step. It is an explosion of kinetic energy that was hiding inside that lazy rhythm. The glove connects with the karateka's forehead with a sharp, sickening thwack before the man's hands can even leave his waist. The impact echoes in the silent hall. For a split second, nobody moves. The karateka blinks, confused. His head snaps back, not from the pain, but from the sheer impossibility of what just happened. He is still standing in his horse stance. His guard is still down. He didn't even see it. He felt the wind. He heard the sound. But his brain hasn't processed the image yet. Bruce is already back at his starting distance, bouncing. Bounce, bounce, slide. He hasn't broken a sweat. He looks at the man, then at the crowd. The silence in the auditorium is heavy, confused. Did he slip? Was it a fluke? The human mind hates things it cannot explain, so it tries to dismiss them. The man in the horse stance shakes his head. He resets. He tightens his jaw. He demands another try. He knows the trick now. He won't be fooled again. Bruce nods. He tells him again, "I'm going to hit you. Same place, same way. Be ready." The karateka is now 100% focused. He is pure adrenaline. He stares at Bruce's chest, waiting for that twitch. He tells himself, as soon as he moves, I block. But that is the fatal error. Action is always faster than reaction. Bruce is already moving. That rhythmic bounce means his body is never static. He doesn't have to overcome inertia because he has eliminated it. He is a car rolling downhill in neutral. All he has to do is put it in gear. Pop. The second hit lands, the exact same spot. The karateka flinches, but only after. The glove has already made contact. It's humiliating. It's terrifying. It's like fighting a ghost. The crowd gasps. This time they saw the speed and it frightened them. Ed Parker, the father of American karate, isn't rolling his eyes anymore. He is leaning forward, his face serious. He realizes he is watching the death of an era. Bruce doesn't celebrate. He doesn't mock the man's slowness. Instead, he drops his hands and stops the bouncing. He walks over to the microphone, and the dancer becomes the teacher. He explains the silly habit to a room full of statues. He tells them that while they were memorizing rigid forms, he was learning how to be water. He explains that standing still is a coffin. A fixed stance is a fixed target. By locking their bodies into these traditional, strong positions, they were actually making themselves slow. They were mistaking rigidity for power. They thought that being hard meant being strong. But Bruce showed them that being fluid meant being unstoppable. The victory wasn't just physical, it was philosophical. The man in the horse stance wasn't defeated by a faster punch. He was defeated by a superior idea. He was trapped in a box of rules that said, "This is how we do it," while Bruce was operating in a reality that said, "This is what works." That auditorium never looked at a static stance the same way again. The heavy hitters went home and questioned everything. The smart ones started moving. They started bouncing. They stripped away the crisp white uniforms and the rigid katas and started looking for the flow. Years later, that dancer changed how every fighter in the world moves. Look at a modern boxing match today. Look at the UFC. Look at any high-level combat sport. Nobody stands still. Nobody locks their hips in a horse stance and waits to get hit. They bounce. They flow. They use rhythm to mask their intentions. The silly shuffle became the standard of survival. Bruce Lee didn't just win a bet in Long Beach, he updated the operating system of martial arts. But this story isn't really about fighting. It's about the danger of the horse stance in your own life. It forces us to look at our own methods with a brutal, honest light. We all have areas where we are playing the role of the traditionalist. We find a method that works once and we lock it in. We build a career, a relationship, or a mindset, and we pour concrete around our feet. We say, "This is how I am. This is how it's done." We stand rigid, thinking that our stubbornness is strength. We think that if we just hold our ground, we will be safe. But life is not static. The market changes. Technology changes. Relationships evolve. The rhythm of the world is constantly shifting, faster and faster. And there you are, standing in your horse stance, waiting for the world to play by your rules. You are waiting for a telegraph that is never going to come. You are tightening your guard against a threat you can't even see because you are too busy looking at the way things used to be. So, I have to ask you, where in your life are you mistaking stiffness for strength? Are you holding onto a business model that is dead because you are afraid to pivot? Are you gripping onto an old argument because you think apologizing looks like weakness? Are you standing still because it is correct, or are you just afraid to move? The lesson from Long Beach is harsh but necessary. The things you are most rigid about are the things that are going to get you hit. The beliefs you refuse to examine are the blind spots where the impact will come from. When the rhythm changes, and it always does, will you be ready to flow? Will you be able to drop the ego, drop the correct form, and adapt? Or will you be like the man in the horse stance, knuckles white, feet planted, confident in your tradition, blinking in confusion while the world strikes you right in the face? The choice is yours. You can be a statue, or you can be water. But remember, statues crumble. Water always finds a way through.